They came from Manitoba and Saskatchewan, from Moose Jaw and Thunder Bay. And until now, they were adversaries. Most had been left unprotected by their former teams, left to resume their careers in the uncertainty of a first-year team in the tropics. Given a fresh start, these proud athletes wore the crest of the Florida Panthers and touched glory in a fairy tale season.
Melody crosses the line. He's got a goal. Melody to the net. Scores! Good! Get through, get through. Fitzgerald to the net. Walks in. Fires a shot. Score! The second of the night and a short-handed goal. Murphy scores!
They would go on to become the most successful first-year team in NHL history. This is their dramatic story of a team that had the NHL spinning, that played every game and every shift with heart and soul.
Great save by John Van Beesbrook. Centering pass, Larkin scores!
Me mind on fire, me soul on fire, feeling hot, hot, hot. Party people.
South Florida. For many, it is the vacation capital of America. It is the gateway to the tropics, where life is a little slower.
Sweet, sweet, I can't resist.
It is here that Wayne Huizinga's vision, the same vision which made Blockbuster Entertainment a dynamic entertainment company and brought the Florida Marlins to life, set out on a new challenge. Undaunted by his many skeptics, Huizinga brought a National Hockey League franchise to South Florida. They would be called the Florida Panthers, named for the endangered species that has roamed the Everglades for centuries. While some in the press called it Wayne's folly, he immediately hired the best people he could find to run the new team. Huizinga named as president Bill Torrey, who had built the dynasty on Long Island, leading the New York Islanders to 4 Stanley Cup championships. As their first general manager, the Panthers selected Hall of Famer and 2-time Stanley Cup winner Bob Clarke. Clark's first move was to hire as head coach Roger Nielsen, a successful strategist who coached the previous year for the New York Rangers. And finally, Huizinga asked Dean Jordan, fresh from his startup experience with the Marlins organization, to come on board and market this new team. Fate smiled on the Panthers early when Bill Torrey called heads for the right to select first for goaltenders in the expansion draft.
From the Sunshine State, Florida Panthers select from the Vancouver Canucks, John Van Beesbrook.
The Panthers' first ever selection would be a boyish-looking goalie who had won a Vezina Trophy with the Rangers as the NHL's best goaltender. If John Van Beesbrook was to become the heart of this team, then this man would be its soul. Brian Scrudland, traded from Montreal, left unprotected by Calgary, immediately became the team's choice as the Panthers' first captain. Beneath the palm trees in Pompano, a new sound was heard. It was the scratching and clawing of a new breed of cat in South Florida.
And let's do the same one every time. He's going over, it's going to go D to D, and then you can make your play. To the middle, to the center man, to the short side. And they got
Roger Nielsen had to evaluate his talent quickly and design a system that best fit the abilities of his new team.
Hit him in the middle. Go ahead, skate.
During the process, these hockey nomads began to get acquainted.
My first question was, who are my teammates? When I found out about being, selected to play with the Panthers. I remember hearing Scott Mellenby's name and Dave Lowry and Andy Lamack and Johnny Van Beesbrook and Mark right off the bat. There's 20 new guys and you knew that you hated all these guys before you started and how quickly that changed.
The Panthers opened their inaugural season beginning a 3-game road trip in Chicago. At 12:31 of the first period, these Panthers made history.
Niedermeyer walks in front of the net and Belfort sliding out with a pad save, loose puck score! The first goal in the history of the Florida Panthers, and it's a power play goal.
Scott Mellenby found the net for the first time ever by a Florida Panther. The Blackhawks realized they were in for a tough fight as the Panthers scored 3 more to gain a tie in their very first official NHL game.
Continue to work hard. Looking for the possible payoff, and it does! Scrutland.
The dream had suddenly become reality. After a close loss in St. Louis, the Panthers traveled to Tampa Bay for a showdown with their cross-state rivals. Tampa's general manager, Phil Esposito, publicly called the Panthers Pussycats and predicted a Tampa massacre. Before an NHL record crowd of over 27,000, John Van Beesbrook was simply perfect.
Oh, a great save by John Van Beesbrook. In front, Bradley, shutting the door, Van Beesbrook. Rookie Chris Pratt centers. DeMaio ran right on top of Van Beesbrook.
When Scott Levin scored on a deflection, one goal was all this gritty team needed to gain its first victory as a National Hockey League franchise. For Van Beesbrook, the 2-0 shutout was an omen of things to come.
We shut them out right in their barn, and we came in there and we did what we had to do, and it just led to the attitude that every game we play, we can win.
Opening night, yes, the inaugural night, Panther program. Come on, everybody.
Yep, can't get a ticket to this one.
Having broken the ice, the team came back to South Florida for an unforgettable NHL home opener against the 2-time Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguins.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the
The man whose dedication and vision brought the excitement and drama of the National Hockey League to South Florida welcomed this sellout crowd.
We are very excited this evening, not only it's the first opening night of the Panthers, but because we are one of only 9 cities in this country that has all 4 major professional sports.
Moments later, the National Hockey League exploded into South Florida.
And a big save by John Van Beesbrook.
While the Pens escaped with a 1-goal win, the message was unmistakable. The fire burned deeply in these Panthers.
Mellenby with a shot, score!
South Florida had fallen in love with Roger Nielsen's collection of blue-collar strappers.
Off the ice, Roger marches to his own drum, but I think that adds to his personality. I think there's a humanness there that you don't always see in a coach. He's not cut and dried like a lot of people have in their own mind as an image of what a coach should be. I think the players can relate to that a little bit. There's a personality there that I think is particularly good for us here in this market. With the young team that we have, I think the players relate to that.
I got a bike, and just about right. It's about 5 miles there and 5 miles back, and it's a pretty good ride, and it's an exercise. It's nice to be able to have a job where you can come to work in shorts or a t-shirt and take your shirt off on the ride home, and that's my kind of job.
Often mistaken for an aging surfer, head coach Roger Nielsen is definitely a free spirit.
I like being around the water. It's great at night hearing the waves come in, and I think when I retire, I'll retire to Hawaii or someplace where you can hear the surf coming in. Way to get back, way to get back. Leave it, Peter. Come on, yell for that puck, you defenseman. Good play, man.
Twice in October, Tampa Bay visited South Florida, believing it was payback time. How wrong they were.
Severin, a power play goal!
After 3 rounds in the battle for the championship of Florida, the Lightning were still searching for a victory. Florida's first trip into Canada came in early November. After splitting with Toronto and Quebec, the Panthers traveled to the famed Montreal Forum. '18-year-old rookie Rob Niedermeyer was unawed by Montreal tradition. And another rookie, Jesse Belanger, left unprotected by the Canadiens, made it 2-0. And Montreal goalie Patrick Roy was talking to himself. The Panthers used Roger Nielsen's choking neutral zone defense to smother the Canadiens' attack. When Randy Gillen scored, Van Beesbroek had more than he needed to shock the mighty Canadiens.
Covering up is John Van Beesbroek.
As word spread of Florida's 3-1 win in the cathedral of hockey, the Panthers had become a genuine curiosity.
You know, looking around the room after we won, and some of the guys were going, hey, I've been playing this game for years, and I never won in the Montreal Forum. You know, like, this is really, guys, really, this is a special moment, and remember it, because it's going to take this for us to be, you know, more and more successful.
The success continued in Ottawa.
Fitzgerald centers for Mellanby, scores! Scott Mellanby, and it's 1-0. Great pass. Yashin with a shot. Oh, what a glove save by Mark Fitzpatrick.
When Jody Hull scored the game winner in the final minute, the Panthers completed their initial Canadian swing 3-1. This gutsy first-year team had passed a major test. Back at the Miami Arena, Floridians were buying Panther merchandise at a record pace. And in the building, the Panther Patrol was spreading the gospel. A team of dedicated professionals raised the first-year curtain in record time. A team assembled by Vice President of Business Operations, Dean Jordan.
We, in reality, had just a little over 3 months. We opened our office doors on June 1st and started hiring people at that time. We didn't have our full staff on board until mid-July. So it was a situation where people were working, 14, 16-hour days, 7 days a week, doing everything we could to get this franchise off and running.
And run they did. And work. And play defense. There were no superstars. night after night, a new name would step forward to play the hero's role. Early in the season, Scott Mellenby was leading the club in scoring.
Haggard in off the point. Here's Haggard, centering it in front, scores! Mellenby with his 10th goal of the season.
Number 27 was also a very physical presence on the ice. General manager Bob Clark knew all about Mellenby's heart from their days in Philadelphia.
I think we got Scott at the right time in his career. He's 27 or 28 now. He's got lots of experience. He's a big, tough player. And we were able to give him the ice time that he needed to be successful.
Along with Mellenby scoring, the defense played a major role in the Panthers' fast start. Stand-ups like Keith Brown, Gord Murphy, Joe Cirella, and Brian Benning kept the crease clear for the man they now affectionately called the Beezer. And for his sidekick in goal, Mark Fitzpatrick.
Charlie Huddy in front, Fitzpatrick, and he keeps it out.
We knew that we had to keep it close. The longer the game went, the closer it was, the better chance we had to win.
In late November, goal-scoring help was on the way. The Panthers obtained Stu Barnes, a former Winnipeg #1 draft pick. Given more ice time by Nielsen, Barnes blossomed as a scorer. In late December, the Panthers prepared for the NHL's hottest team, the New York Rangers, who brought a 15-game unbeaten streak to South Florida. The Panthers came out hitting.
Oh, is he hit by Levens? Low. A little shook up on the play.
Causing a few Ranger headaches and numerous Ranger mistakes. When Mellenby scored, the sellout crowd knew the Beezer would bring the curtain down on his old team. And somewhere on that worried face of Roger Nielsen, just the hint of a smile.
The New York Rangers were voted down to defeat the shot wide of Van Diesbroek. The Panthers win! Panthers win 3-2!
Take a look at that, John Van Diesbroek. Wild after a victory. First victory against his old team, the former team, the New York Rangers.
When the Panthers had the audacity to end the Rangers streak, many clubs felt they had to send a message to this freshman franchise. In early January at Boston Garden, when Jeff Smith was blindsided by the Bruins' Cam Stewart, Paul Louse responded. A signal was clearly sent, although Stewart may have had trouble understanding a signal of any kind. In that moment of truth, the momentum of the game turned, and the Panthers began a streak of 9 consecutive games without a loss, an NHL record for a first-year team.
And here come the Panthers again. Niedermeyer in full
During
flight.
that streak, they rolled through 6 top 10 teams.
Scores Mellenby! It's all tied up! Here's a break from Rene.
They journeyed to Montreal and came away with a 5-2 victory that simply reinforced the togetherness of this team.
We're going end to end, coast to coast at Belanger. It scores! Into the Canadian zone. Now keeps it in, plays a shot, scores!
Sometimes the word me is used too much, and here I don't think I ever heard the word me. Everything was we. We have to do this, we have to do that, we have to get better.
At home, they humbled the Canadians 8-3. The Panthers had developed a team chemistry seldom seen in professional sports.
We didn't really have any superstars on our team. We had, the same type of player, defensive-minded, work hard every night, and you knew he was going to go out and give you that effort every night.
With Lamakin 2-on-1. Belanger to Lamakin scores! There's number 8, and it's 8-2. Fencing in front of the net. Lowry not taking anything there. We're going to get a delayed penalty here. Flatley now throws to the slot. Here's a shot. Great glove save by Fitzpatrick.
As though genetically fused together, this team toiled man for man with an unbending work ethic. Night after night, shift after shift, they became one.
We had chemistry, and I think part of the credit probably has to go to Bill Torrey and Bobby Clark and Chuck Fletcher and the management team for selecting they selected the players, and it turned out that they selected ones that had really good chemistry.
At the very core of this rebirth for so many on this team was John Van Beesbrook, an NHL MVP candidate on the ice and a beloved leader in the clubhouse.
I didn't realize he was as good as he was, both on and off the ice. He was the guy that made us believe.
He gave us an opportunity to win every game he was in.
My personal feeling is he should be the MVP in the league. Game in and game out, he was incredible. I've never seen goaltending like this.
When the Rangers traded him and Vancouver said no thanks, John Van Beesbrook kept it inside and set out on a mission.
Man high, Teach! Still here, Goody! Behind! Murph, stay right here. Right there, Murph. Sorry, Benny. I heard you. I heard you. I just made the wrong play. Coming across the blue! Gordy. You want that, or you rather me? No, I wanted that. I knew it was coming. Okay. Take it behind. Set it up. Take it behind. Set it up. Let's get set up here.
On the ice, John Van Beesbrook has the pride of 10 men. At home, he's just a 30-year-old family man, father of 3.
God is good. God is great. I want to thank everybody for being so kind to us and for the nice food that we have on the table and for our little Nicholas, Benjamin, Ian, Mommy, and Anna too. Amen.
I think in order to succeed in this game, you really do need a solid family. Mentally, you have to be able to separate yourself from the game and from the anxieties from losing to the glories of winning. But when you walk through that door, you immediately switch. And you're not a hockey player, you're not a businessman, you're not anything but a father with priorities at home.
And sometimes when the pucks come too hard, you bend down and the puck comes right into your pads.
What went through my mind initially with the trade was that I thought it would be really good for John to give him like a new lease on his hockey career, a change that always seems to give someone more energy. I thought it would be great for the lengthening of John's career and for his attitude and everything.
In early January, with an actual NHL playoff spot in sight, the Panthers fired a shot heard round the NHL. In an effort to add more scoring punch, the club plucked high-scoring Bob Kudelski from Ottawa.
In front, scores Bob Kudelski!
Kudelski never skipped a beat, finishing with 40 goals and 70 points for the season.
Kudelski, the trailer, scores! Bob Kudelski!
Boy, I'll tell you what a shooter. You watch when Bob Kudelski gets control of the puck.
Both Kudelski and John Van Beesbrook gained a berth in the mid-season NHL All-Star Game. Kudelski scored 2 goals, and Van Beesbrook was the winning goaltender in a 9-8 triumph. The sniper and the Beezer had become the first Florida Panther All-Stars. No longer a surprise, the Panthers had become a serious threat for a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. One of the Panthers' most pleasant surprises came from number 26, Jesse Belanger. Strictly a defensive forward with Montreal, Belanger had the shackles taken off him by Roger Nielsen and was allowed to fly.
Dealt to the point, Belanger scores! Here's a shot, scores! Here's Gardinia, delayed penalty, in front, scores! Belanger!
Along with Belanger, banner years from players like Andre Lemakin from Philadelphia.
Lemakin scores!
Jody Hull from Ottawa.
Throws it in front, the Hull, he scores! And we're all tied up!
Gord Murphy from Boston.
Front, here's a shot, scores!
Jeff Smith from Edmonton. Mike Foligno from Toronto. And the man from Calgary who breathed fire every night. The man who inspired teammates game after game. 30-year-old captain Ryan Scrudland.
I got a lot of drive from my teammates all season long. I saw the effort that every individual was putting in, and I thought if I got a little extra to add tonight, I wanted to add it. And there were some nights that there was that little bit extra that maybe there wasn't the past couple of years.
Good play. Good play, boys. You just come up if the puck's here. Come on, let's go. We're in escape, bench. Should be in center ice right now, bench.
Scrudland is one of those players who make you proud to be a professional athlete, because everything is hard work with him and total dedication and enthusiasm and all the things you want in a professional athlete. Scrudland brings to a hockey team, and kept our team upbeat all year.
2-on-1, shorthanded, Huff, Scrudland scores! A shorthanded goal, and the Panthers are on the board!
In early February, the team got a real scare as Van Beesbrook suffered a deep cut on his stick hand.
Gets a step on Hogwood, but watch the stick. This is where Beezer gets hurt. See the skate? Skate hits the hand of John Van Beesbrook. Watch this coming back. He's now hurt. He's probably bleeding, but look at the move. The move by Straka, or Naslund, sorry. Look at this, whoa!
He would be gone for 2 weeks. Mark Fitzpatrick stepped in and was nearly flawless. He went 4-1-1 in the Beezer's absence. By now, the Panthers had become the hottest ticket in town.
This is the year of the Panther.
As the club entered March, the playoff drive was in full gear. They simply outworked their opponents. Heart and soul were the trademarks of this team that would not die. When the Rangers appeared again in Miami with the best record in hockey, the result was the same.
For Belanger in front of Lemakin, scores! 1-0, a power play goal. Here's a break for Scrudland. Scrudland walks in. Scrudland shoots. Richter the save, rebound, scored!
The 2-1 win was another Van Beesbrook classic. Florida fans were delirious over their Panthers. Their NHL record 17 ties showed how clutch goals, defense, and outstanding goaltending kept this team in every single game. The Panther backstop duo of Van Beesbrook and Fitzpatrick finished third in the NHL in goals against. the club went undefeated against recent expansion teams Anaheim, Ottawa, and Tampa Bay. They scored more points than any first-year team ever. They were the only new team in history to have two men named NHL Player of the Week. Number 26, Jesse Belanger, and John Van Beesbrook. And no first-year team ever topped the 33 victories the Panthers gained during their inaugural season. South Florida was gushing with pride over their beloved Panthers.
I think they've done an outstanding job.
They've had a tremendous run. They've been in every game this year.
One of the best expansion teams, you know, in the history of sports to go that far. So, you know, we're all pretty proud of them.
When their record-shattering accomplishments left them just one win short of a playoff spot, this team dedicated its final game to their outstanding fans. Scott Mellenby scored his 30th goal, and the Beezer, he said thanks in his own way. In the closing seconds of a 4-1 win, an emotional volcano erupted. The fans rose in prolonged ovation, and the players returned the tribute.
After the game was pretty emotional. We all stayed there, and the players stayed and gave them a salute, and just more of a thank you to everybody.
It was really something. I think that there was a bond there developed between the players and the fans that hopefully will carry right over in the next season.
The excitement level in the building throughout the game, the noise level, it was something I don't think I'll ever forget.
And for a magical moment, the team turned to its owner, touching him with their unspoken respect. At a crossroads in their lives, destiny held her hand out, and the Florida Panthers were born. A team and a year filled with heart and soul.
Our expectations were getting greater and greater as the season went on, but there's one thing that we didn't expect, to have the greatest fans in the National Hockey League. Thank you very much.